Hey there, I'm here to talk about compact discs today. CDs. I love CDs. I play CDs probably every day, whether it's in my office, in my car. I love the fact that they're convenient. I can put 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 into a multi-disc chain drive upstairs and just let it go. Have a great work soundtrack. So anyway, I'm here to talk about 10 of the most valuable CDs from my collection. And here we go, starting at number 10. This is the debut album by Mindless Self-Indulgence, band from New York City, really hyperactive, energetic blend of pop, punk, rap, metal. It's great stuff. I like their albums actually more as they went through their career, more than this one, but still, great band. This came out in 1995, typically sells for, I think, between 80 and 100 bucks, so rare one there. There's the back. And here is the disc. Righto. So, MSI, Mindless Self-Indulgence, great band. I have a big collection of theirs. Next on the list, which came out in 1994, this is a metal band, Sadistic Intent, with their album Resurrection. Again, 1994 on Obscure Conjurations record, I believe, or Gothic Records. Gothic Records is the label. And check out these guys, man. They look serious, right? Look at them. So yeah, this again goes for around 100 bucks. Sadistic Intent, 1994 release. Next on the list, one of my favorite bands ever. I have a huge collection of these guys. Zig Zig Sputnik. Zig Zig Sputnik was a band that came out around early to mid 80s. Had a big hit, Love Missile F-111. Then they disbanded in the early 90s. Took a break, and they got back together in the late 1990s, early 2000s, and this is about the time when this came out. 1998, this came out. I was doing some work for them back then. I did this logo and some graphic stuff for them, and they were really cool. They gave me number 1 of a numbered edition of 300 of the CD. It says, "To Pilmer the Man." It's signed by Neil X, Martin Degville, Tony James. So this one, according to Discogs, this CD numbered version goes for as high as $115. But I think this one, because it's number 1 of 300 and signed by the entire band, would probably go for significantly more. I love it, though. Of course, I'll never sell it. And there was another version that came out later with this yellow in the text rather than orange. And that probably doesn't sell for quite as much, but I know it's probably still hard to find. So, Zig Zig Sputnik fans, take heed. Next up, another black metal band, Mayhem. Mayhem with their album Death Crush. This came out in 1993. This is an original pressing. It's in beautiful condition. Usually if you find these, they are in very good condition at the most. But this is beautiful, very early black metal stuff. And if you know anything about Mayhem, you know there's a lot of controversy in their early days. You could look that up if you're so interested. But 1993, this came out. You can get this for around 120 bucks maximum on the market. So there we go. Mayhem, great logo, huh? Next up on the list, again, Mindless Self-Indulgence. This is MSI's album called Tight, which came out in 1999 originally. This is the original pressing. I got it from the band, from the singer, Jimmy. And this is great mint condition copy. I opened it just enough to slide the CD out to play it, but it's still in the shrink. This used to sell for as high as like $125. I think it's probably gone down a little bit since they reissued this as Tighter a few years ago. But still, this original copy, especially with the hype sticker, should go for probably around 100 bucks, I'm hoping, but I would never sell it, so there. Next up, another favorite band of mine, a synth pop band from the early 80s called Reflux. They were from the UK. They had a big hit called Politics of Dancing, and Praying to the Beat was another hit they had. They opened for the Police on the Police's Synchronicity tour in, I think, 1983. I saw them in Greensboro, North Carolina, and they came out on stage before the Police, and they had these mannequin guys standing behind some keyboards, and they called them the Boys. And I just loved it. They put on a great show. I was a fan ever since. And this box set came out in 2010 and was available only on the band's website. And what it includes is the original album, Politics of Dancing with some bonus tracks. And then it's got all these other albums, all recorded in the 80s but never released. Live stuff, demos, 12-inch mixes, all stuff from the 80s. It's not like one of those bands that puts out a box set and it's mostly all stuff they did recently. This is all 80s stuff. This is a great compilation. There, I'll give you a little peek there at what's on the comp. But yeah, this goes for around $150, $100 if you can find it anywhere. I think the band might still have them on their website, so go ahead and Google Reflux Band or Reflux Politics of Dancing. Their website should come up. Next on the list, a very important person in my life and a very important band, Mark Mothersbaugh of DEVO, did some songs for his art gallery shows back in 1994. He's been doing art for longer than he's been doing DEVO. And this was music to be played at his gallery shows in the 90s. And there was several different covers that were released. I think they were all different. They were just cuttings of his art prints that were then embossed, printed on music for the gallery. But you can see these covers are just square cutouts of some of his art prints. I'll show you the disc inside. So if you wanted to get one of these, you probably end up paying between $85 and $150. And these, of course, are great condition. Love this stuff. So yeah, DEVO fans, pick that up if you can. Next on the list, this came out in 1993. Great band called Coil, industrial noise, goth. Some of it's fairly ambient stuff. But Coil, this release is called Stolen and Contaminated Songs. Came out again in 1993. Now this particular pressing, I believe, goes for about $190 highest. I've had it since back in the day. Got it when it first came out. And I think there's also a version without text on the back. Just got graphics like the front. I don't have that one. That might be even worth more than this one. But Coil, great stuff. One of my favorites of the industrial genre. Good. Try to find that. Number 2 on the list, he's back. Mark Mothersbaugh of DEVO. This is a 6 CD set that Mark created in 2006 at my request. At the time, I was doing art shows for Mark. I did art shows for Mark for about 10 years, where we would go to these small hole-in-the-wall galleries and have his artwork for sale and on display. And this CD set, after 2006, so for about 4 years, this CD set was playing at his art gallery shows. And I'll just show you. It's got this little, says here, music contains all goof-ups, divots, errors, blah, blah, blah. Got that. And now you open this up. It's got panels here that fold out. And inside are 6 sleeved CDs, right? And I'll just show you one of the CDs real quick. And if you've seen my live streams, you've probably heard some of this music and one or two of them. So there we have it, 6 CDs. And what Mark did with this CD set is he sat down at his organ at Mutata Music at his studios, and for each time he would sit down, he would record 1 CD's worth of music. Just stream of consciousness, sit down and go for an hour or 45 minutes or whatever it was. Here's some inserts here. Here's all the track lists. And I guess it came with a business card of mine from my art tours with him. And hi, Meowser. How's it going? So that CD set, if you can find it online, typically goes for $250 or $300. In the past, that's what it has sold for. I've seen it listed for $1,500 to $3,000, but haven't seen it sell for that much yet. And now, for the top most valuable CD in my collection, I think. I'm pretty sure this is the most valuable one. This is a band called Future Islands, and they came out around 2005, 2006. They were synth pop, really 80s influenced synth pop stuff. Great music live. They were fantastic live. I saw them play a lot of early shows down here in 2005, 2006. Anyway, I found this CD of theirs at a thrift store. And, you know, most recently, I think, a few years ago, they were on David Letterman and really blew up, became really popular. But this CD was released, obviously, in the early days. This was a CDR that they made by hand. And this particular one was signed. You know, the band did all these drawings on there. And it's got a piece of paper glued to the back and spray paint art on the front. You can see if you open it up, it says Future Islands. I asked the singer about this CD, and he said that in the early days, they created maybe, he wanted to say a dozen, maybe 20 of these in their backyard where they spray painted all the covers and glued the paper to the back and did this whole thing and then gave them out to shows or sent them out to friends or whatever they did with them. They didn't make very many. This was later reissued, again as a CDR, handmade, but with a cover, a paper cover slipped in. It was a yellow cover, looked like Xerox photo of some kind of humans on the front. I don't know if it was the band or whatever, but it's a yellow card rather than being spray painted. Now that one, the yellow card version, has sold for anywhere between $200 and $500 each. I think this one would go for more because it is one of the very, very limited spray painted covers. And this is the only proof online that I've ever seen of one of these spray painted covers is the image that I have. I think I put this image on Discogs. So this one, I'm going to guess it would go for a grand, $800 if it's sold to a rabid Future Islands fan. But it is a cherished possession of mine. I can't believe I found it for like a quarter or 50 cents at a thrift store. Amazing. So there you go. 10 of the most valuable CDs from my collection. I will have more CDs to talk about later in another segment. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for the thumbs up. May the rock and roll gods bless you, and I'll see you next time.